Today, we're about to unravel a staggering $6 trillion problem that often goes unnoticed. Yet it has profound implications for economies all around the world. Now, I know what you're thinking. $6 trillion? What could possibly be this colossal financial challenge that nobody seems to notice? Well, my friends, fasten your seatbelts, because today we're uncovering the hidden world of infrastructure spending. But before we dive into this financial abyss, let's ponder this. Have you ever wondered why some countries flourish while others stagnate? What is the secret behind a nation's prosperity? The answer lies in a web of concrete and steel, in roads, bridges, ports, and even less apparent factors like education and defense. Yes, we're talking about infrastructure, the unsung hero behind the wealth of nations. So let's kick off this journey with our first topic. Imagine a world where trillions of dollars are spent annually on services that, astonishingly, do not directly contribute to increasing our daily wealth or prosperity. This might sound like a paradox, but it's a reality we face every year. Economies worldwide are caught in a cycle of pouring massive sums into infrastructure projects. And here's the kicker: not all of it is creating economic magic. In fact, did you know that every year, economies around the world spend a mind-boggling $6 trillion on infrastructure services that at times do little to boost our day-to-day wealth or prosperity? It's an eye-opening figure that raises a crucial question about the efficiency of these investments. But wait, don't get me wrong. Infrastructure is the backbone of economic development. It's like the unseen wizard behind the curtain pulling the strings. It's the roads that transport goods, the bridges that connect communities, and the power grids that electrify industries. The better the infrastructure, the more prosperous a nation becomes. But here's the catch: it's a double-edged sword. Consider this: countries with better infrastructure consistently outperform those with poor infrastructure in terms of economic prosperity. Studies have shown that for every dollar invested in infrastructure, the return on economic output can be as high as $3, a testament to its undeniable importance. To truly understand this paradox, we need to travel back in time and look at historical examples, like the New Deal in the United States. This ambitious infrastructure spending plan emerged as a beacon of hope during the Great Depression. It revitalized the nation's economy and set a precedent for future prosperity. The New Deal, for instance, not only pulled the U.S. out of the Great Depression, but also contributed significantly to the country's long-term economic growth. It's estimated that for every dollar invested in New Deal projects, the American economy gained nearly $7 in return. Now that we've journeyed through history, it's time to take a closer look at the present. Infrastructure spending, like any other economic strategy, comes with its fair share of pros and cons. On the bright side, investing in infrastructure can be a catalyst for economic growth. It's a job creator, stimulating employment in various sectors, from engineers to laborers. It boosts economic output, often providing a short-term economic boost. Governments, after all, often turn to infrastructure spending as a reliable solution, especially during economic downturns. However, we can't ignore the cons. While infrastructure can be a ticket to prosperity, it can also become a slippery slope. Sometimes, countries become so accustomed to rapid growth through construction that they overdo it. They build more than they actually need, and herein lies the danger. The assumption that public goods like infrastructure don't need to generate profits can lead to overdevelopment, eventually burdening nations with debt. Let's put this into perspective. Overdevelopment, where nations build unnecessary infrastructure to maintain economic growth, can have dire consequences. Take China, for example. a nation known for its massive infrastructure spending. This rapid expansion, while initially impressive, has led to a situation where entire cities lie empty and resources are spread thin. It's a cautionary tale of how excessive construction can become a burden rather than a boon. But there's an often overlooked side to this story, one that silently chips away at economic prosperity: maintenance. Yes, my friends, maintenance is the unsung hero behind the scenes, ensuring infrastructure's longevity and functionality. You see, everything we build, from bridges to power grids, faces the relentless forces of wear and tear. Rust corrodes steel, extreme weather takes its toll, and obsolescence creeps in quietly. These maintenance challenges, while rarely discussed in headlines, are the silent drain on economies. Every year, they chip away at our infrastructure's value, costing the global economy a staggering $3.5 trillion, equivalent to 3.5% of the world's GDP. Now, let's journey to Sri Lanka, a nation that once held the promise of economic miracles. Years of rapid growth seemed to paint a rosy picture, but beneath the surface lay a harsh reality. Sri Lanka fell into the trap of excessive infrastructure spending without careful planning. They borrowed heavily to build massive projects, which initially provided a boost to GDP and employment. But as those construction projects ended, the employment shrunk back, leaving the economy with outliers of growth. This addiction to rapid growth through construction became unsustainable. It's like taking medications without a prescription. In the right doses, they can work wonders. But overdoing it leads to dependency and long-term health issues. Sri Lanka's story serves as a stark reminder of the perils of unchecked infrastructure spending. Our journey takes us to the world's second largest economy, China. It's a nation that has witnessed astonishing economic growth, largely fueled by massive infrastructure spending. But as they say, there's no such thing as a free lunch. China, with its vast population and ambitious infrastructure projects, may seem like an economic powerhouse. However, beneath the surface, a precarious infrastructure bubble has been expanding. The government, state-owned corporations, and even households have plunged into debt to sustain this bubble. The implications are beginning to surface. To put this into perspective, China's debt to GDP ratio is now close to 300%, a level that has raised eyebrows among economists and policymakers worldwide. It's a testament to the challenges posed by excessive infrastructure spending. Now let's dive into the notion of overdevelopment, a perilous pitfall that countries sometimes tumble into in their quest for perpetual economic growth. Overdevelopment occurs when nations keep building infrastructure projects they don't genuinely need, all in the name of maintaining economic growth. It's like a never-ending construction spree, but it comes at a cost. Resources are wasted on projects that won't yield significant returns. To prevent the perils of overdevelopment, a crucial step is often overlooked: feasibility studies. Feasibility studies are the gatekeepers that scrutinize the viability of large-scale infrastructure projects. They ensure resources aren't wasted on endeavors that won't provide economic returns, especially in richer developed countries. Research indicates that countries that conduct thorough feasibility studies tend to have more successful infrastructure projects. In fact, such studies can increase the likelihood of a project's success by up to 20%. It's a simple yet powerful tool in the world of infrastructure spending. But what about the infrastructure we already have? It's easy to focus on building new projects, but we mustn't forget the backbone of our economies: existing infrastructure. Neglecting maintenance can be a costly oversight. From corrosion and wear and tear to obsolescence, the silent forces of decay relentlessly eat into the value of our infrastructure. Annually, corrosion alone costs the global economy about $3.5 trillion, a staggering 3.5% of global GDP. Ladies and gentlemen, as we unravel the complexities of infrastructure spending, it's clear that there's more to the story than meets the eye. Infrastructure, while a catalyst for prosperity, also carries its burdens and challenges. From the risk of overdevelopment to the crucial need for feasibility studies, these factors shape the economic landscape of nations. Join us in our continued exploration of the world of economics and global affairs. Together, let's delve deeper into these topics, share our thoughts, and strive for a future where infrastructure spending leads us to more prosperous shores.